You were also in Punisher, weren't you? In the TV series.
I might have been.
It might have been. Because, I've spoken to Rob before, who's walking around. I don't know if he's in the crowd. No. If anybody sees Rob walking around and he's Punisher get up, he looks amazing. I'm a massive Punisher fan. Like, I'm not even talking like that much. I'm talking like I'm old school Punisher comic fan. So yeah, I'm marking out a little bit over that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So again, we've gone sort of from stunts to acting, but there's quite a lot in common that you both have to do when it comes to the acting side of things. Because you're not just throwing people around, really, are you? There's a lot of it, but there has to be the body control and the movement that you have has to be in keeping with the other characters that are there.
Yeah, so I mean, as a stunt performer, you always have to copy the main actor. You have to make sure you move exactly the same as them. And also because of film, when you're making these big films, it's so busy and there's so many sort of film units working on the same film at one time. You may be required to do something that's not necessarily stunts. So, for example, in Solo, I did the very first shower scene as Chewie, and I had to get in with Alden and wash all that mud off in that fight scene. But then there's other points as well where, you know, when we're on the train and you know, you've got to react to you know, when Chewie nearly fell off the train at one point. You've got to react to that, and you're still acting. So, yeah, you may be a stunt performer, but a lot of acting in the background as well.
And from your side of things, Billy, like the characters that you've portrayed, how difficult is it for you to find that character, or because you've been used as that type of character quite a lot, do you find it comes more naturally now? I'm not saying that you're going to start kicking people's heads in, but like, does it come quite naturally, do you know?
It does, to be fair. We all like our action films and so on. We all like, you know, particular gangster films and stuff. In fact, I use like the likes of Robert De Niro and stuff like that as influences. I watch the way they act, the way they move as a bad person, and I use that rather than me trying to be, because I'm naturally not what you would class as a tough guy, so to speak. So I do try and use other people as an influence.
Yeah, I was a massive fan of movies like The Expendables, where it's not always people that you expect to be that hard guy, but they pull the role off so perfectly, and that is something that you really have to nail to get that many parts that you've been getting as well. Is there anything other than watching those guys and how they work that you would use as your influence? Do you have an inner bad guy somewhere in there that you channel?
I might do. No, not really. To be honest, like I said, I tend to just try and be as natural as I can, but I do try and use like, I don't want to bring it back up like Robert De Niro stuff. Like, I do try and use other people's bad ways, if you know what I mean, for me to I bounce off that, because I can't really find it in myself naturally to be that person, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I do tend to research people and then use it, if you get me.
I think sometimes that's very much the way is to build your character. It's finding little bits that you can piece together, and it can come from anywhere, and just making it your own by using that experience that other people who've been in the business a lot longer, and I'm sure you find the same thing, like using what you've seen. It's almost like osmosis, isn't it? Like being able to pick it apart and go, right, this is what I like from here. With regards to, I was talking to Lee about you before, and Lee went, Billy was minted cosplay. So, how did you transition between being minted cosplay to being an actor? How did that work? Other than him being in a coat, a really good looking bloke.
Not quite, but okay. Alright, yeah, I was a cosplayer for, God, it was getting on for 10 years, maybe a bit more. Last costume I did was Darth Nihilus, and I was an attack pilot as well. And a collision marine. But anyway, I was at Star Wars Celebration, and it was so happened I was bouncing around with a lightsaber, acting like a moron outside, enjoying myself, and some guy did approach me, and he slipped the card inside my gauntlet, and I forgot about it until finished. And when I took it out, it was a scout. So yeah, jumped on it. Had a little bit of fun on the internet and sent a few measurements. 2 weeks after that, I was on set of American Assassin, which is just mad. I couldn't believe it. It was just like seeing out with like proper kitchen myself.
That's to be spotted by someone that like instantly just goes, yeah, he's got it. That's incredible.
I never saw the guy again, to be fair.
Really?
That's the thing. Well, I just went with it. And I took a risk. Yeah, kind of paid off.
Yeah, it's very much when we're doing wrestling shows and things like that, we always say to the guys, you never know who's in the crowd. You never know which promoter's there or which guy's there that knows someone else. They see you and they spot you. That could be you way of flying, and it's very much been the case of that.
I've got to say though, just to add to this, but my second job ever was Alien Confident. And when I got the call to go to Creature Workshop, I had no idea what it was. Myself and my mum, we are massive Alien fans. I went in and they had this little room. There was no pictures or nothing, so we had no idea. They did prosthetics fit and everything else. Again, still didn't have an idea. And I was like busted for the balloon. Can please use a load? He goes, you have to walk through the workshop to get there. Okay. So they opened the door, walked in, I saw everything. And I knew straight away what it was. I couldn't wait to tell them what it was. Oh, I want to bring them.
Yeah, it is sort of, it's once that curtain's open to you and you kind of go, what's this? Yeah, I can imagine that would be incredible, especially some of the prosthetics that they would wear for the likes of Alien. Speaking of toilet dashes, I'm assuming Chewbacca is not the easiest one to get in and out of for things like that.
Actually, it's not too bad, to be fair.
Is that right?
Yeah, from some of the costumes I've worn, Chewbacca's probably one of the easiest ones.
Really?
It's basically, I don't want to ruin it too much for the kids out there because it's real, but it's basically head off and then suit comes down and off you go.
Oh, that's
so it's not too bad.
So from your side of things, Arie, obviously stunt work is something that's needed in everything across the board. How did you get into it? So where did you begin before you got to that level where you're at now?
Well, my first role was Chewbacca.
Yeah.
So I kind of went in at that top level, which is, it was insane, and finding out for the first time that that's the character they wanted me for was just unreal. Being a huge sci-fi fan, although I do remember my very first sort of audition, and they asked me if I was a Star Wars fan, and I said I was more of a Trekkie, if I'm going to be honest. But I got away with it, and they kept me on board.
How did you start doing stunts to start with? So where did that come from?
Well, that came out of the blue, really. It was a bit of a risk on my part because I was doing well. I was managing a health club, so I love film. And lucky enough, a friend I knew somebody in the industry, and they were looking for someone of my height and someone who could throw themselves around and didn't mind getting hurt, who had a sports background. So I went for the audition. Didn't know what it was for at the time, and yeah, they said they wanted me for it, and then they told me the role. And I was like gobsmacked. It was amazing, and I haven't looked back since. It's been fantastic, you know. I'm 38 now, and I'm still doing what I did as a 10-year-old. You know, I'm dressing up, I'm playing toy fights with friends. I love it.
The crash mats are amazing. Like we had 3 different sizes for what we did, and my thinner one is hard. Or had this big giant thing that was like a pillow. You just landed in it, you couldn't get back off again. It was crazy, but yeah, our guys love jumping on crash mats.
Yeah, you're lucky if you get them. Sometimes you don't. Well, when we did if you've seen episode 9, there's an explosion in the desert where one of the speeder explodes and then we all fly off. And we actually landed in black beans there because it was the easiest. They wanted like black sands, and it was the easiest way of showing like a black sand rather than dying sand. They used black beans. That was pretty hard to land into. But yeah, I think we did that 4 or 5 times. It's pretty cool. To be fair, in the middle of the desert, I loved it.
Have you had many injuries?
I've separated both my shoulders. Got a bit of a dodgy hip. But other than that, I've been all right. Touch wood.
What about Gangster Billy? Has Gangster Billy had any gun whip lash injuries?
I've had a few.
Have you? Come on then.
just as mentioned, like I can't talk about yet. Okay, I was on Jurassic World 2 was probably one of them. We were working closely on the stunt guys then, so there was a lot of running. We were being chased by dinosaurs, obviously, and so I had a stunt guy near me on the side of the leg while we were running. Oh god, that hurt so much. I tried to like act all cool, I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, oh god. But yeah, it's been a few bits, mostly bruises for me though. One that I can't mention at the moment. Yeah, my foot got destroyed at the end of that one.
Yeah, that is one that I want you to mention, but
I really want
I
this.
don't. I get. We'll come to that in a sec. We'll not. We'll skirt around it somehow. So coming to Comic Con. So did we know Comic Con before we did Chewy? And obviously we know your cosplay background. How different is it coming to Comic Con as a fan and as someone that comes to enjoy it, to come in and sitting behind a desk and people coming to actually meet you? How different is that, and what's the transition like for sort of?
For me, I feel like this is kind of my world. These are kind of my people. For me, it's no different. All I've done is I'm not walking around in a costume now. I'm sitting there instead. And I've got to say, some of the cosplayers that walk around, I know they're like, oh, so cool, you've been on the show. But they don't realise it. Those costumes they're wearing are just as bloody tough and just as hard as the ones on the set as well. My hat's off to all of them. So, but yeah, for me, this is my world. So it makes no difference if I'm there or from here. So yeah, it's great.
What about you, Arie?
Well, for me, I'd only been to one Comic Con before I started doing it. I went to Liverpool Comic Con, and that was fantastic. Seeing everyone cosplay, it was a brand new experience for me. And then as I've been to more and more, and as a guest now, I just find myself getting more, sucked more into this world, and I love it. And I always make sure I walk around before or after the show, and sometimes I'll pick something up myself, and it ends up on the wall back in the house. So yeah, it's fantastic, and it's such a nice community. Everyone's really nice, and I just love talking to people and just talking through my experiences, but also them, and how many Comic-Cons they've been to and what they enjoy. So if you're out, come and say hello later. Just have a chat.
That is very much sort of from a fan perspective, having guests like yourselves who are so welcoming and accommodating and just want to chat. I think we all walk in here as nerds and we all go, love him. Like my other half, when we were down at Ella's car, he's a massive Sophie Aldred fan. We had Sophie and Sylvester on there, and he walked up and I was introducing myself. I went, hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm on the stage today. And she went, hi, and I went, this is my partner Brian. And he went, I'm a big fan. And I think people seeing you guys doing these talks and doing the Q&A sessions, to get to understand that you're real people as well. You've been where they are, and it is something for them to aspire to become, because you are the influences where it's like, well, I didn't go to all of the acting schools, and I didn't do years and years of this. I was me, and that's what someone saw, and that's what someone invested in, and that's a huge inspiration, especially to some of the younger guys who are wanting to start off. So, is there any advice that you guys could give to them to just get them to get maybe in the right headspace, or finding their feet, as to how to make that transition between coming here and being a cosplayer and or just coming to Comic Cons and enjoying it and actually breaking it out there?
For me, it's mostly it's just being disciplined more than anything, and just being dedicated. You only need the one, and it's the way you portray yourself on that one, and that's enough. That will open the world up to you. But yeah, it's down to you, to how you do it. If you know what I mean. Obviously, if you tell them the wrong attitude, it'll never be used again. It's always down to you. It really is.
Yeah, very much so. I think always going in with that positive attitude, and even if you are sort of coming in and you want to get your foot in the door, it's being open and saying, is there anything I can help with? Do you need a hand with anything? We very much say in what we do is from the ground up, and you shake the hand of the guy serving the drinks at the bar the same way you would with the person running the show. And I'm assuming it's sort of very much the same with the respect that you guys show when you're on set and making sure that everybody's sort of treated the same, and you know that you need to be respectful to everybody and not just the ones at the top that are the pecking order kind of line.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's not being nice. You know, if you touched on it, then respect. If you're nice to people, then it'll come back to you in one way, one form or another. And it doesn't matter who it is, you know. And unfortunately, the film industry can be a bit ruthless at times. But I find that, you know, if you are a nice guy or a nice girl, you know, then you'll go far. I think, and that's in all walks of life. Just be nice.
Absolutely. So, although we can't mention that one, is there any... Right, so Billy's in something really class, but we can't talk about it, right? So we're not talking about it, are we? We're not going to talk about that thing that he's in, that's class. But just keep an eye out for it and you'll see him. Anyway, is there anything that you can talk about, both of you, that we can expect to see coming up?
The only thing I don't know, right, that's come out is Jurassic World Dominion. It's the only one at the moment. I can't think of anything else. There's so many. I don't know. But there's so many I don't know. And someone's like, "Oh, I saw you on telly." What? That's what it's like for me at the moment.
That's where Clem was the same. We were sitting saying to Clem, like, "What have you got coming up?" And he goes, "What have I not?"
Yeah, I've worked with Clem a fair few times now in the past.
So good. What have you got coming up, Arie? Like, can you discuss any of it?
I mean, it's all available on IMDb if you look. So I've got a little role in The Flash, whenever that decides to come out, if it comes out. And then we've just finished filming Craven the Hunter, which is a Spider-Man nemesis. So you may or may not see me in that.
May or may not. May or may not.
Well, considering I play CGI characters most of the time, probably won't see me in it.
There's Can I give one hint for yours, Billy, just and say that keep an eye on the streaming networks. Yes. So keep an eye on the streaming networks for what Billy is doing coming up in the future. We'll give nothing other than that away. But thank you very much for joining us, guys. Are you hanging till the end, till the death today? So both Billy and Arie will be around the corner, just where the other guests are there. Please feel free to pop over, say hello, get some autographs, get some selfies, and just have a great afternoon and do what you do best.
Thank you guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening.
Can I have a massive round of applause, guys, please? Thank you.